Hey, Sean, Adam Benini, you got me?
Yeah, I got you, Adam. Go ahead.
All right. I wanted to start off with, I know there's a bunch of new COVID protocols, right? That everyone's trying to navigate, obviously an issue around the league. Does it give you an ability to forecast in any way, shape, or form how things look for Dion or John looking toward this weekend?
Yeah, don't really know yet, Adam. Again, just so much up in the air at this point, so many questions, and John's is more recent than Dion's. So the hope would be that Dion comes back before John. Just don't know yet.
All right, and I just wanted to follow up with you. We had talked about after certain games, New England being one of them, physicality at the point of attack, certain types of run-based offenses having success against you. How far down the road in terms of corrections do you feel you are heading into this rematch with the Patriots?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're improving. I don't think we're there yet. We certainly have a lot of work to do, and it's an ongoing deal as you go through the season, whether it's pass defense, run defense, point of attack, all those areas that you mentioned.
Thank you.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, can you explain any further what you meant by Don and Dion's situation being different, other than just the day that they went on the list?
That's really it. I really, and their COVID protocol, but that's the timing of it is that's really it. Just different dates and time there.
All right, and then kind of per Adam's question a little bit, when it comes to making those adjustments, when you're playing the same division team close together, is it an advantage to the losing team in that you guys will spend all week making adjustments, trying to fix the things that went wrong, and then New England will only have the 3-hour period on Sunday to react to all that?
Well, I'm sure they're going through some adjustments on their end. They beat us, they controlled the game, and I'm sure though that's what coaches do. We always look for advantages and opportunities, even though you get the result, or sometimes you don't get the result. You're always looking to improve your football team. I'm sure they're doing the same on their end.
I just kind of look at it as, with a division game, you guys know each other so well, and with so little having the opportunity to change between the two games, the chess match that goes on, move, counter move, you guys are going to get all this time to think about what you can do different, to be able to, make up for what went wrong in that first game. Is it a bit of an advantage from that point of view?
We've got a lot of work to do, so I don't know if it's an advantage or disadvantage really. That I mean, we've got adjustments to make certainly because they handled us pretty well here.
All right, thanks, Sean. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, you guys were great in the red zone yesterday, going 4 or 5. Why is that going to be such an important emphasis of the next few weeks as you guys close out the regular season here, to just be as efficient as you can be in the red zone?
Yeah, Maddie, you got to be able to score touchdowns in the red zone. I was really proud of what the offense did yesterday, and Coach Dable and the offensive staff. High level of execution, which is what we're going to need going forward here.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean. Bill was asked today about taking a game like 3 weeks ago with the weather elements. How much can you study from that? And, he said there's quite a bit you can, because it's still a football game. There's things. Do you kind of subscribe to that there's a lot, even though the elements were what they were, that you can take that game and look at it and take it into this week as you prepare for them again?
Yeah, I would say so. I'd agree. There's always things you can learn from film and firsthand experience at that. So I think there's, things that we take from that game. I'm sure, as he said, things that they'll take from that game and try and use as we go into this game.
Mm-hmm. And, obviously, I don't know how far down the road you've gotten into, looking at, the Colts game that they played the other night, but what have been your impressions? Obviously, you talked a little bit about Mac, and then you played against him, but didn't throw too much. What do you think you guys have to do well against him specifically on Sunday?
Well, he's a good young quarterback. I thought he executed well the other night, in particular when they got behind. I thought that was impressive what he was able to do in bringing their team back. It's clear they have a lot of trust and confidence in him.
Thanks, Sean.
Hey, Sean. How do you keep the players focused and energized when you're preparing for a division game with big implications?
Well, you said it, where we are in the season, in December here, late December, entering into late December at least, I think the guys shouldn't lack for much motivation at this point. This is what you work all season for and all season. And you want to continue to improve your play every week.
And with the magnitude of the game, what do you tell your players for how to best manage their emotions so they don't get too high or too low throughout the week?
Yeah, I mean, that's where the focus has to be on the preparation, taking it one day at a time and, trying to improve each and every day, whether it be fundamentally or technique wise, so we can be a better football team.
Thank you.
Sure.
Coach, Mookie Dawkins, Waffle Sports Cincinnati. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, Coach. The past couple of weeks, it's been some shuffling and just trying to, get things back to where they normally would be. But they've been answering the challenge, Coach. So just tell me, what have you learned about your team the past couple of weeks?
Yeah, I was impressed with the resiliency of the group yesterday, coaches included, with the late changes before the game in regards to the COVID situations that we had come up. So that'll be important for us as we continue to move forward, that it's a next man up approach for the players on the field, and that we continue to stay adaptable and we evolve as the situation calls for.
Absolutely. And I know on the defensive side, Coach, normally you guys were allowing those 4-man pressures to get the job done. But as of late, you've been using 5 to 6-man pressures at times. So how pleased and confident have you been with those 5 to 6-man pressures at times?
Yeah, I thought it was a good blend overall yesterday. And, I think the guys, executed at a high level, which is what it really boils down to, whether it's 4, 5, 6. It's the execution that counts.
Absolutely. One more, Coach. Spencer Brown. Do we have to give Spencer Brown the Josh Allen playlist? Do he need to listen to a little bit of Sinatra or or something like that before the game? I love the energy. But sometimes maybe he might need to listen to some music before the game.
Yeah, well, whatever playlist you come up with, I'm sure he'll appreciate that, Mookie.
I got you, Coach. Have a good week.
All right, you too.
Hey, Sean, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. As you'd expect, your post-game comments created a lot of attention here in New England in regard to Bill Belichick. And I was just interested in, upon reflection upon those, it seemed like the intent was that you guys beat yourselves. But what was your overall feeling on those comments and your take on it post?
Yeah, Chris, 100% of where we fell short, what we could have done better, 100% that. And that's really it. I mean, 100% respect for Coach Belichick, and it was really just focused on us, and that was the intent.
And you talked about it a little before and what you could take away from that game, and it's perhaps limited. Do you think that there will be big adjustments from what we saw in that particular game outside of, obviously they're not going to run the football as much as they did, but do you basically expect there to be a very different look from both teams going into this contest?
It's interesting. I think both are good teams, and certainly they've got a really good team, well coached, and they've got players that have been in that system for quite some time, in particular on the defensive side. And so I don't know, it'll be, I think, part of that chess match. And at the end of the day, it's going to come down to fundamentals and technique and execution like it normally does.
And final thing, is there a difference that you notice in a team coming off of a loss, whether it's your team going into this week against Carolina or what you expect from them coming off of the Indianapolis game, where there's kind of a refocus, a recommitment, and perhaps a greater amount of intensity?
What's your question, I guess, Chris?
But do you notice, like, a team coming off a loss, are they different? Are they a more dangerous team perhaps than a team that's coming off a victory?
Well, I mean, I think it's just you try and get into a routine every week where it's you try and be consistent in your approach, whether you win or you lose, and you make adjustments either way. And I think that's kind of the value of the process that we go through, and Monday through Saturday, and making your making yourself and your football team a better team.
Thank you.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, Mike, Catalana. You said something yesterday was interesting about them not having basically a kicker and how it can make it more difficult. Is it amaze you a little bit, as long as you've been in this league, how quickly it's just sort of become a 4-down league now? And how much time do you spend having to think about those situations, whether offensively or defensively, what might happen on a 4th down when it used to be kind of common you'd see a kick?
Yeah, I mean, that's, you saw some of it. I saw some of it last night, even, Coach Harbaugh going for 2 and some of those things, analytics involved, and then your gut feel on it and all those things. And so you do your best to make the best decision for your football team. And so the preparation part of it leading up to the game is an important piece as well.
And is it, how much of that is somewhat predetermined in terms of you've thought about it both offensively and defensively in an approach, and how much of it is just, on the fly, depending on the exact circumstances?
Yeah, I mean, I think, when really the game is 0-0 or early in the game, those are the ones that are a little bit more predetermined. But as the game ebbs and flows, where there's things that change situationally, down and distance wise, field position, score, all those things that get factored in through the course of the game, and it can change, whether you're going forward or decide to kick, punt, whatever, as the game kind of goes on.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, Jackson, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Well, thanks. With all he's done really these last 3 games, above all else, is there anything that, sticks out to you as like extra special, or what's really impressed you the most about the way Gabe Davis has played?
Yeah. I think it's more of a continuation of where he left off last season, to be honest with you, Jackson. It's he's always been tough. He's always been smart, versatile player. Guy that you can trust. Josh has a lot of trust and faith in him. And so I think it's just really a continuation of where he left off last season, and then some of what he did to this point, or the last couple of weeks at least. And then he's just built on that the last few weeks here.
Awesome. Thanks.
Hey, Sean, it's been 3 games now since you've lost Tre'Davious White, and you've seen different types of offenses. You've pretty much seen a pretty good spread of all the different things that a team might want to do. Can you just give an overview of where you think your secondary is now, 3 games into its new incarnation?
Yeah, I think they've done a nice job in a lot of ways. They're working together back there, and I like what they've done. And again, in with the void, or trying to fill the void of Tre'Davious being gone. Again, like I've said before, it's not a player you can replace 100% just because of who he is as a player and a person. But I like the grit that they've shown back there.
Is there anything that you can tell, whether it be behind the scenes or just from your coach's eye, and somebody who obviously has such intimate working knowledge of how secondaries operate, as to what the average fan or the media might not be able to tell regarding how these guys have been evolving here over the last 3 games?
I mean, I don't really have a kind of an aha moment or anything for you, Tim. I just think it's, they've been very consistent. I love how they prepare during the week. They're always here working, studying film, working on their communication, working on how they see things, making sure they see it the same. And if they don't, then speaking up. So I think that there's a leadership component to that really goes through Micah and Jordan more than anything.
Thanks, Sean.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, you've kind of already touched on it a little bit, but I'm just wondering, does the fact that the Patriots only threw 3 times in the first game make it more difficult to prepare for this one, given that you just don't have a ton of in-person experience to go on? Or is it just kind of like preparing for the first game where you just look at the film and go off what you already know about their system?
Help me clear up your question there so I make sure I answer it the right way.
Now, I'm just wondering the fact that the Patriots only threw 3 passes in the first game, does that just make it more difficult to prepare for, going up against their passing game this time around, just that you don't have a ton of experience going against it?
Yeah, I mean, that's a part of their game plan that we really didn't see. I'm sure they, feel good about that part of their game plan. Obviously, the weather impacted some things there, so I'm sure that we'll see some of that this coming weekend here.
Thank you.
Sure.
Here we go. Good afternoon, Coach. George Redney, Challenger Community News.
Hi, George.
All right. Question for you. Do you think the slight injury to Josh the week before in Tampa Bay might have been a blessing in disguise? Because yesterday it seemed like he was definitely, it had the notion not to run. He kind of went side to side and stayed in there a little bit longer. And then receivers ended up breaking open because he stayed a little longer and also moved side to side instead of obviously running and taking off over the line of scrimmage. Seemed like his patience of waiting, and guys were, especially on that Gabriel Davis second touchdown.
Yeah, I thought Josh, at times really moved well in the pocket, to your point, and that'll be important moving forward as well. And I think there was a time or two where he did run and scramble, and I thought that worked well and was effective. And so, I think just overall, he only ran when he had to run, and I think that was good to see.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, and good luck this coming week.
All right, thanks, George.